I just recently discovered a thing called having a thought. For context, I thought there has to be a way to make a game where you can control an arrow like Yondu purely with your mind. For me, the most obvious way seems to be a brain chip hooked up to a PC via Bluetooth and reading the input like from an Xbox controller. Easy. So let's have a look how much does a brain chip actually cost. Oh boy, up to 50,000 bucks. Yeah, we're not gonna do this. After endless sleepless nights playing, thinking about a suitable control strategy, it hit me. So instead of using our mind, we could simply use our mouth. Like politicians. Governmental bashing included? Check. Basically, the arrow could be controlled with two inputs, the volume and the pitch from the player's whistling. The louder the player is whistling, the higher the effective range gets, and the higher the pitch is, the faster the arrow will go. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Well, it isn't. I wished at least 67 times to die in the making of this game. First off, we need a player controller, so I started with the bean, and it's me or does bean. Looks kinda pale, but a bean running around doesn't spark that much joy. To fix this, I started to read scientific papers on how to grab audio input from a mic and how to process the input to get its volume and pitch during runtime. The result are hundreds of lines of code I can use to make my arrow do things. But because I don't even understand half of the stuff, let's hop into something more eye-pleasing. To be honest, my Blender skills kinda suck, so I hopped into SketchUp to borrow an arrow asset. So hippity hoppity, you know my property. Being back in Unity, I added a red trail to the arrow, but then disaster struck. Although the arrow looks fine, its center of origin was so off that I'm not able to use it in the intended way. Long story short, although I'm kinda dumb in it, I hopped into Blender and had to make my own arrow asset. You know what's the most important game mechanic developed in the 21st century? I tell you, inspecting your equipment, like in CSGO. So obviously I added an inspection mechanic to my game. While whistling but not shooting, you can now have the arrow floating and dancing right next to you in the air. And mark my words, everything I do always works on the first try. To now get the holy trinity of running, inspecting and shooting, we actually need something to shoot at. Therefore I added a bean. Oh wait, that's not a bean, that's a cylinder. Anyway, to not overwhelm you as a player, I gave the arrow a homing mechanic, so the arrow will always attack the nearest enemy, defeat them and go to the next one until no enemies are in close proximity anymore. Now we have basically the core gameplay mechanic ready, but as Sir Isaac Newton already said, flat maps are bad, make them twisted, for real. So I again got confronted with my own stupidity in using Blender. I mean, I could start learn Blender instead of complaining, but that would be too much self-reflection and we don't do that here. That's why I grabbed this map, throw it into Unity and call it a day. Now you have to take a close look. Closer, a little closer, that's close enough. You see what I see? Those red cylinders enemies, and this map gives me the ache, like your granny. But don't worry, unlike your granny, those cylinders and the map deserve a little treatment and I won't punish them with my poor Blender skills. So I hopped into Mixamo. Oh, you don't know what Mixamo is? Mixamo is the wet dream of every game dev in terms of getting creatures, rigging your own creatures or simply getting pre-made animations to speed up your development. Sorry for that. Before playing with my newly acquired alien model, I tried map design for the first time and is it just me or does it look like an architect had a stroke? That's why I decided I need some help and found a good tutorial on how to use ProBuilder from Thomas Brush. Thanks for your service, Thomas, very cool. Although I first had some difficulties using ProBuilder properly, I quickly adapted to the workflow. But my first ProBuilder map had at least one major flaw. It lacks completely elevation and as Charles Darwin already said, elevation makes me go yes. And what makes me go yes are lots of aliens running around that can be completely obliterated by my arrow. Therefore I changed my red cylinders into animated aliens and oh boy, those fuckers nearly brought me to the edge of insanity. I mean, look, I had to fight with Unity's animation system, I had to fight with my highly advanced anime AI, which was breaking down constantly, and the best of all, I had to fight with aliens only shooting sideways for no reason. The only thing that really worked first try was the muzzle flash made from a Unity particle system. But yeah, at the end of the day, Mummy didn't raise the quitter and I was able to fix those bugs and added some final details like audio, a level exit and a second level with an actual end, which I'm not gonna show you in this video. It's abomination of a game completely for free. You'll find the itch.io link in the video description down below. That's it from me. Smash that like button if you liked it and want to restore my sanity, and see you again next time.